Hello, this is Melam.
And this is Oki, and welcome to Texas True Crime, the English version.
Okay, today is episode number 25.
25,
E.
yes.
E.
Yes,
Also
E.
E. That means English version.
Yes.
Okay.
You may have already listened to the Thai version of this case of Tan Do and Trini Do. Well, thank you for stopping by again to give us a chance for the English version. I hope you've had a lot of fun listening to the different cases that we talk about. So today we are staying in Texas.
Okay,
Right.
let's go.
So we are going to be in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's up north Texas.
20 miles from Dallas.
We are going to first talk about the family, which is the Do family. There are 4 people in this family. We start with Tan Do, which is the husband, the father in this family. He's a 35-year-old man. The wife is Trini Do, who is a 29-year-old woman, and they have 2 children. So a little bit about this family. They are a Vietnamese family. Trini Do actually moved from Arkansas. She had a family who came from Saigon, from Vietnam. They moved to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Trini was the first one that moved to North Texas. She moved when she was 18 years old, and she met Tan, who is 7 years older than her. When she moved in 2000 to Grand Prairie, that's when she met him and she married him. So she married pretty young, and they have 2 kids together. During their relationship up until the incident of the crime incident that happened that we're going to talk about later, they have a very tumultuous relationship. Tumultuous is a lot of up and down. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. Just he was a very controlling, very abusive person in this relationship. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Trini also moved some of her family members from Arkansas to be closer to her. Not necessarily because of the relationship, but just better opportunities in Dallas area, in the Grand Prairie area. So during their relationship, their 10 to 12 years relationship?
Yes.
Almost 12 years relationship. There's a couple of incidents where I want to highlight that Malam talked about in the Thai version. Right about 8 years after they were married, Trini wanted a divorce. And she was doing pretty well being an agent, selling homes and such. Yes. He had lost his job in the meantime, but she filed for a divorce in 2008. But 7 months later, she withdrew the divorce papers. Uh-huh. She decided not to do it anymore. She stayed in the relationship. Uh-huh. She had hopes. She had high hopes. They had kids together. She wanted to work in her relationship with her husband. But only 2 years later, in 2010, a huge incident happened to where he dragged her into their closet, in one of the closets in their house, because he was so angry, dragged her in there, grabbed his gun, shot his gun to the ceiling to threaten her. I mean, Trini was very affected by this. She was really scared. If he could do this, who else, what else could have been done if he could do something like this?
He said he don't want her to file a divorce again.
Right. He again was very controlling, and he threatened her again and again. This was a very disturbed man. It didn't help that he had lost his job while she was flourishing in her job. The family had an idea that they were not getting along. They suspected that he was an abusive man, abusive person, but Trini kept through with wanting to make sure she could take care of this family. She wanted them to be a unit.
About in November, they have argument a lot.
There was almost a tipping point was when they had an argument, huge argument in their home with their children in the room, and he slapped her.
In front of the kid.
In front of the kids, he slapped her 2 times. And of course, she was crying, screaming among all this. She grabbed the phone and told him that she was going to call 911. She couldn't stand it anymore. She was ready to be done with this marriage. But Trini didn't call 911. She pretended that she did. And that angered him. He got very, very angry at this.
Yeah.
So he decided that he wanted to call 911, but instead he went and grabbed all his guns that he had. Now, he legally owned all these guns, by the way. In what way, how he did, I don't know. He didn't have a job, he didn't have money, but he did. He went to grab all his guns and he threatened the whole family, her and the kids, that if anybody called anyone, the police, a family member that lived nearby, anyone, he was going to hurt all of them. This guy was a very disturbed guy, and he didn't know how to control any of his anger, and he let it all out on his wife. There's no evidence that he hurt his kids, but they definitely witnessed all the abuse, all the yelling and the screaming.
So in December 22nd, 2010, she filed for restraining order against him.
He couldn't come close to however many feet of her without her being able to call the police. He needed to pretty much stay away, move out the house, something. But he couldn't be close to her anymore, which was very smart of her to do. But then again, she was very determined to save her marriage. She was very determined to save her family. She was also hoping that he would change.
Yeah.
And she said that in some of the to some of the family members. After the big incident, a lot of family members told the police that she was very hopeful. She wanted to save her family. She believed him when he said he was going to change.
For the kids.
For the kids, right. But only 3 months later, Trini withdrew her restraining order.
Against opinion of her lawyer that she withdrew the
All right.
order.
You know, honestly, I felt like perhaps he was threatening her even more, telling her that she is going to be in a lot of danger if she kept that restraining order, maybe. Or she thought that if she kept the restraining order within the court and stay with it, she was still going to be in danger. Or he again convinced her that he was going to be better.
Yes.
We don't know.
All the abusive
Right.
guy.
But whatever the reason was, she did stop the restraining order.
Yeah.
So he was able to come around the house. He was able to see his kids. He was able to see her. And their arguments and their fights continued after that.
Till July. The incident happened on July 23rd, 2011.
So that day, Trini had planned a birthday party for her son, their oldest son, who was turning 11 years old. Now, this was going to be a big birthday party because she had relatives coming in from Arkansas. She had her parents coming in from Arkansas. She had other children because they invited their son's friends. It was at Forum Roller World. in Grand Prairie, Texas. It's a skating rink. It's like an old school skating rink. You can have birthday parties there. So they actually rented the place and shut down the place and only had their party.
It's 30 people.
Friends and family, right, that attended the private event. There's also the staff, and the owner was also there. So the party was going on. Kids are having a good time running around. And the family suspected that Tan and Trini were arguing days leading up to this party. But at around 7 p.m., Tan, who was at the party, he told the kids to kind of go away. He told the kids to move, to get out of the way. And the owner was nearby, who heard this, was wondering what was going on. So Tan then suddenly got out his shotgun and just started shooting at the family, shooting at the party. The scene suddenly became really chaotic. The kids were not hurt. I'm just warning you that at the beginning now. But everybody was just running away, running outside. Kids were on skates. People were on skates, were just running out as fast as they can. The manager was helping the kids out. But unfortunately, a lot of the adults, because they were sitting together nearby, were shot.
Because they are family.
Right. I mean, it's a private party. A lot of people stay close to each other. 11 people were hurt overall, but 5 had died from this shooting rampage from Tan. So the first to die, because he was targeting her, was his wife, Trini. Trini was first shot at. After that, Lynn Ta, which is her sister, a 16-year-old sister, who had come down from Arkansas for this party. Another sister was also shot. The family had 8 children in the family, but not all 8 were present at the party. The parents were present at the party. Trini's mom and dad were there. They were shot at, but they survived. The second person was another sister, 28-year-old Michelle Ta.
The
fourth person that had died from this incident was her brother, Hien Ta, who was 21 years old. And then the 5th person who got shot was named Thuy Wen, which is a 25-year-old sister-in-law. They had just married. They just gotten married. Her husband, which is Trini's brother, wasn't there at the party. Tan, after shooting the family members, then suddenly turned a gunshot to himself. He shot himself in the head, and he was taken to the hospital, to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
So totally 6 died.
Right, including the shooter. 6 people died that day.
And 4 injured.
4 injured. 3 were taken to like nearby area hospitals, and one of them drove themselves to the hospital with a gunshot wound. Just a tragic story, tragic end to this family or the existing family. Imagine the family losing all these people. It's just very, very unfortunate and very sad. This is someone who had a lot of mental problems. He had a lot of demons inside him, I would say, to really take it out on his family like this and the rest of her family as well. I mean, this will also affect all the kids that were there, you know. Even though he told the kids to go away, it doesn't mean that this didn't affect them in the long run or immediately. Forum Roller World did reopen a few days later after this incident. The owner wanted to make sure that people know that this is still a family place. And that's it for the case of the Doe family. Right. Mm-hmm. It's really, really sad. Mm-hmm. It was something that escalated from just arguments after arguments to something that was physical, that was abusive, and then gun violence, and then family annihilation.
And you know, abusive husband is never changed.
They won't ever change. Absolutely. They will try maybe, or they will just tell you.
They go back to the same manner.
Right. this was just another case, a really, really unfortunate, ongoing abusive case.
Okay, so
And that's it for today. We will see you guys next time on Friday. We have another new case on Friday, and both Thai and English versions. And thank you for coming by.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.